Hello! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Sorry it's noisy. My voice is kind of gone, so I apologize, but still good enough. So let's get started. So this video is it has a lot to do with the first video because that I released last week. So I said in the first video that the number 12 is very important, but I forgot to really touch on that in the video, so I thought it would be good to go in a little further with that. So so basically, as I alluded to last video, the universe works in a series of 12, and 12 is important. If you look at the meaning of words, you have to really look into numerology. But basically, the ancients knew this, the ancient scholars. So let's go a little deeper into what the hell I'm talking about. So the universe follows the 12 stages that I was explaining in the last video. But it's not just the life story that we go through, it's also the order and composition of everything. So lots of Renaissance speakers back in the Renaissance period, such as Marsilio Ficino, Giovanni Pio della Mondala, and Giordano Bruno, all were able to see this science. And this science is a form of astro-theology. It is astro-theology. It's a science of astro-theology. But it can also be called syncretism. And it's called syncretism because it shows the connection in everything and how everything is synchronized. So syncretism is basically what shows that all theologies, philosophies, religions, sciences, everything is all one. And I'm going to have another video where I talk about the all, which is the all. It sounds dumb, I know right now, but just hang on a little bit. Okay, so as I illustrated in the previous video, like the theme of all these ancient texts and philosophies, went under this. They're all the same in their structure. Especially, this is really known to those who start to experience insight, and all insight is sight within. Because as you start to know yourself, you really start to learn the wonders of the universe, because man is the measure of the universe. We ourselves are our own universe, our own microcosm, millions and millions upon cells, all working so that I can breathe and speak right now. The word spirit, I was fascinated by it because it actually derives from inspire, to breathe in, or respiration. Your spirit is your breath. Your spirit is, that's why words have so much meaning. What you speak onto something creates reality. This also goes with thought forms. The principle of mentalism is also something I'm going to be talking about in my next video. But so syncretism, all these ancient theologists were studying this and were able to see the underlying truth within this, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. But they were kept in the dark for hundreds upon years, thousands of years, crucified, you name it. They're still being killed this day for speaking truth. Even what I'm saying right now, a lot of people do not want me to release. A lot of people want to keep the control and keep the power of the secret of all secrets, the divinity that they strip from us. Some say the grand arcanum, which is hiding in all these texts. So the magnum opus that every philosopher seeks, the elixir of life, etc. It all has to do with the microcosm, the body. Of course it does. Look at the microcosm, means small cosmos. Our body is scientifically referred to as a microcosm. This is everything I'm saying is not subjective opinion. This comes from a lot of painful research, and I say painful because it's painful really learning the truth, because a lot of what we've been conditioned and raised to believe is lies. The word believe, B-E-L-I-E-V-E, is to be a lie. It's like if you want to play the guitar, you have to know how to play the guitar. You can't just believe in yourself to play the guitar. It's different from hope. Belief is not hope. Belief is to be in mind. But to know, that's where truth comes from. So the body, the microcosm, is exemplified and written out symbolically in the Bible, for example. And I'll be talking about the Bible a lot in this video, but I don't want you to get the wrong impression and think that I'm preaching or think that I'm specifically talking about the astro-theological aspects of the Bible and the matter of syncretism and the principle of 12 and how it's really talking about the structure of the universe. So the Bible is the story of the creation of man, how man was created, and it's a literary masterpiece because the underlying truth of it is beautiful. So you have to understand that within the Bible and other texts too, your body is your temple, and that's how it's referred to. And Solomon's temple is your body. So man is the temple. That's why, they say, treat your body right, it'll treat you back in return. Our body is like our child. We have to look after it. We have to take care of it. And if we ignore or neglect parts of our body, there's going to be, just like if you were to neglect or ignore a child, it's going to have devastating effects. So you must nurture your child. You must nurture your body so that you can walk in the Spirit. So the Temple of Solomon was built not with hammer, not with saw, nor the sound of hammer nor saw. The Temple of Solomon is built, the body is built on 12, the principle of 12. Man is the measure of the universe, because the universe is also built on a system of 12. Everything that exists in this universe is built on the system of 12. If you've maybe seen the tree of life, or if you've maybe seen a clock, there's 12 hours a day, 12 hours of night. The human body must correspond to the universe because man is the measure of the universe. The ancients knew that there's a circular path in the sky because we could see the changes throughout the year. There's 12 months in a year, and each stage was in 33-degree increments. And if you multiply 33 by 12, it's a full 360 degrees. That's why when they say things have come full circle, because things are completed. So they were able to see this, they were able to trace this 360-degree path of the universe because of the 7 wonders of the world, the seven wonders of the universe, the 7 wanderers of the universe. And what do I mean by that? I mean, okay, so let's count it. We have the sun and the moon, and then those are the 2 luminaries. The sun and the moon I could go so deep into what the sun and the moon are, and I'm going to save that for another video. Male and female, electricity, magnetism. There's a lot to know about just the sun and the moon. But for this, let's just keep in mind the 7 wonders. All right, so you got the sun and the moon, and then all the 5 visible planets. So Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. I'm just going to throw this in there real quick because it's just on my heart. A lot of people don't realize that Saturn is the farthest planet from the sun, and Jesus Christ, the myth, not the person, is depicted as the sun for being the salvation for our material existence. It's sun worship. Helio-Gnosticism, to know the sun. They want us to worship the literal sun because it takes away our own divinity. They want us to worship the salvation of the material world. For if it weren't for the sun, we wouldn't be here. No life would exist. Nor would the moon. The moon is just as important. So, I know I went off on a little tangent there. That's still a lot more information for another video. But as I was saying, Saturn's the farthest from the word Saturn. The planet is also symbolized as being the coldest and farthest from the sun. And who's farthest from Jesus? Satan. Before Jesus Christ, there was a story of Horus. Same story. He was born of a virgin. He was worshipped by all Egyptians to be the salvation, the savior. That's actually where we get the word hour and horizon and hello and hi and all these salutations. Salutation. Sal means salt. Jesus is the salt of the world, right? So, like I'm saying, this is syncretism. So really, I could talk for hours about all the different connections because it's all connected. But I'm just trying to give you guys a good little intro video because I'm gonna go way deeper. But this is a good little intro. I know I'm not in my apartment like last time. I just needed some sunlight. But so let's get back to this. So Jesus and Satan, Sun, Saturn, Horus and Set, sunset. When the sun is setting, that's when Horus loses, and then that's when Set rules. Set rules the night, Saturn rules the night. So anyways, let's get back on track. So the path that I was talking about that they devised were from these 7 wonders of the world. The moon, the sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And they noticed that all of these, okay, so you got the equator of the Earth, right? So picture a line that extends past that. That's a giant circle that's going to wrap around the equator at the same time, right? So it's called the ecliptic, is what that path is actually called. And I drew it here. You can't really see it too well. Well, I guess you can. So that's the ecliptic path. The circle right here represents the Earth, and that's the equator going through it. So as I said, there's an extension of everything, and it's in 33 degrees, and that's 30. If you know anything about Freemasonry or that tainted ass, what was once something good that became something evil, twisted, and it's nothing but malicious. They know this. They know these secrets, right? But they keep them to themselves for power. So to reach the 33rd degree in Masonry is said to become, like a master Mason, right? And it's because all they do is steal this knowledge. But I'm giving it out to you guys so you can get the power for yourself. And if any Masons are watching this, yeah. So you guys know, okay, like if anybody's watching this and is offended by what I'm saying, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, actually. So the ancients took this 360-degree full circle, the completion, and notice that it's complete after 12 stages. Isn't that a surprise, right? So each phase is in a 33-degree segment. Just so you know, America, was started by Freemasons or whatever. So that's why we have Fahrenheit degrees, because they wanted to make the freezing point 33 degrees. They say 32, it's really like 33. And there's other meanings to that. I'm just giving you guys tidbits as I go through this, right? So let's stick on the thing. Ancients discovered 12 steps to everything, and then they discovered the path through just watching the known world. You get a lot. There's a lot to learn right in front of our eyes, but we're told to believe in fairy tales. So why 12? You ask. Well, if you look at the tree of life, as I said earlier, it can go. I'll go in a little in depth in another video on that. But 12 is important in numerology when you study numerology. So I'm just gonna. I have that written down in another notebook, so I'll pull that up for you guys, and we'll get to that. But okay, so you have to know what does 1 mean, the number 1. What does the number 2 mean? What does the number 3 mean? What does the number 4 mean? They all have specific meanings and different implications. So the ancients knew that this order was happening, and every year and throughout the day too, right? You have 12 hours through day, 12 hours through night. So our body, is composed of the same thing. And this is where I'm going to get crazy. All right, so the cycle starts. It's a full circle, and each segment is 12 degrees. So if you look at the zodiac, it really starts in Aries. Aries is number 1. Aries is the ram. Aries starts because it symbolizes the top of your head. It symbolizes the beginning of your life. And embryological development. It's one of the first, pretty much the first thing, the neural tube, which becomes your brain. It's the first thing that's really materialized, during true human growth. So it's the ram. The ram has the horns on his head, right? So Aries is on the top of the head, and it corresponds to the cerebellum, or the cerebrum. Sorry, it corresponds to the cerebrum. Taurus, of course, is next. That's number 2. And if you look at the horns of a ram and the horns of Taurus, they're structured differently. Rams, are here. The Taurus's horns are lower. So this is of the lower part of your head, and it's actually near the bottom of your head. And this corresponds to the cerebellum. So you got the cerebrum, Aries, and the cerebellum is Taurus. So you have the higher mind, and then you have the lower mind, or the higher brain, lower brain. And if you look at the physiology of the cerebrum versus the cerebellum, they work in sync with each other, but they offer completely different physiological aspects. They're similar, but they're different at the same time. I'll show you. Yeah. So let's look at the physiological difference of the cerebrum and the cerebellum real quick. Okay. So before we move on to the rest of 3 through 12, because I only went over 1 and 2 so far. I just want to show you guys like the etymology. And etymology, if you haven't heard that before, it really just means the origin of words. So let's look at the origin of the words cerebrum and cerebellum. Okay, so also you'll notice that hiding within these 2 words is the word Israel. Israel. Isis, Ra, and El. The kingdom of God. Israel, the kingdom of God, is in your head. I don't know why I got so intense saying that, but yeah. So there's a lot of meaning to this. Let's take a look. All right. Number 3 is Gemini. And Gemini are your 2 arms. Left brain, right brain, control, separate. It's the sisters. Number 4 is Cancer, which is your breast. Your chest is Cancer. Number 5 is Leo, the heart. So Leo, the lion, is your heart. That's why you always wonder if you have the heart of a lion. You've heard that before, I'm sure. It's also referred to, Leo can also represent the spine. And lions are brave, right? Lions are brave, right? All right, so like to say somebody is spineless means that they're not brave. And that's where that derives from. So there's more. I could go into the etymology of courage and how that has to do with the heart too. But we'll, for the sake of time, let's keep going. So the next is Virgo, number 6, and the Virgo is the intestines or the belly. You could say each. So 7 is Libra. Now remember, if you guys are forgetting, I'm going in the segments, right? Each 33-degree segment that makes the full circle is 12. It's your body from head to toe, and each physiological structure responds to this, because we are We are the universe. So Libra is the two kidneys. Libra is the scale. You know, the kidneys are what balances our body's pH. The kidneys are the balance organs of our body. Number 8 is Scorpio. Scorpio is the genitals. Can bite you in the back if you're not careful. That's where the term backstabber comes from. It's from Scorpio. So, number 9 is Sagittarius, which is the hips. And it's kind of funny because a lot of people who are Sagittarius tend to have a little bit wider hips. And why is this? Why is the word hips? Even the word hips, comes from the word hippo, which really means horse. I know you think of hippopotamus, but the origin of hippo means horse. So that's why Sagittarius, you know, he's on a horse, or he's half horse, from the legs down, right? Right. So number 10 is Capricorn, and Capricorn is an earth sign, of course, but Capricorn is the knees, the kneecaps. Capricorn kneecaps. And number 11 is Aquarius, and Aquarius is the calves and ankles. And I noticed, I was trying to think about, well, why is Aquarius the calves and ankles? Like, what does that have to do with it? But if your body accumulates fluid, known as an edema, it always happens in your calves and ankles first. And I was like, wow, okay. So 12 is the last one. The two feet is Pisces. Those are, those are the 12 of your body. So this is beautifully portrayed throughout the Bible. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen, well, of course you have. You've seen, well, most people probably have seen the picture of the Last Supper, where Jesus is in the middle, and you got the 6 disciples on the left, and I think 6 on the right, and each one of his apostles, he had 12 apostles, 12 disciples. It's all there. It's all there. If you put on them truth shades, you could see it clear as day. So many like great ancient, even Jewish scholars, you know, like Josephus, Flavius Josephus, or Philo-Judaeus, spoke of this and exemplified how Solomon's temple is the body, how Solomon's temple exists in 12. But Rome, of course, Rome had to interject and took this truth and took away the symbolic nature of it and made it literal. And they made it literal so you pin it down, right? You make something literal. And by them doing that, you know, there was a method to why they were doing that, right? So you get, there's so much power that comes from knowledge, and the more you know about yourself, the more you know about the world. So you can really make the world work for you. You can really accomplish the impossible with certain keys to life, right? And hopefully this is a key you guys will at least take a look at, even if you don't use it. Put it in your pocket for a while. You never know when the door will pop up and you'll need it. So, you know, you had the Romans, you got the Council of Nicaea. I don't know if you guys heard of them, but it basically was like a peer review Bible chop shop, where they just cut out what they didn't want, cut out what they didn't want you to see, kept all their own knowledge for themselves, right? So you had Eusebius later who did that, and of course Francis Bacon, the King James version of the Bible. I I forget the statistic, I'll have to look, but I think the Bible has been revised at least 150 times. So the Jesuits were also cooking the books. The Jesuits are another, on the surface, organization of Jesus and Christ, right? But they're really Satan worshipers. They're sun worshipers. If you look at the damn Jesuit symbol, it's the sun. It's all there, people. So the wealthy elite are the ones with the truth. And why are they so wealthy? Why are they so powerful, right? Because they know the real shit. And it began with the Flavians. I had to do some research on who the Flavians were. So let's just like look at them real quick. Who are the Flavians? All right. Okay. So all them Flavians, like they put their own little toxic touches into the damage that they were wreaking on the hidden truth. Whether it was they all put their own toxic touches on it. So you had Vespasian, who seized power. You had Titus, who conquered Jerusalem and shared power. And then you had Domitian, who attempted reforms and suffered from posthumous spin. I wrote that down. I'll put it on here. I'll pause this. Yeah, posthumous spin. That's interesting. Justinian was also somebody who did a lot of damage. His wife had reincarnation removed from the Bible around 530 AD. So it's kind of crazy to think about that. For half a thousand years, for 500 years, it was an accepted belief that reincarnation was a part of the teachings of Christ. Until somebody's wife said, nah, take it out. Because people don't need to know that you're coming back. People don't need to know that we have a beautiful existence here to learn. You could also look at it as a prison and a hell. If you look at, we're made of carbon, right? Carbon's atomic number is 6. It has 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. The mark of the beast, 666. We are beasts, we're here. But that's what they want you to think, that's it. That's why they got you worshiping the sun. They got you worshiping materialists, because they don't want you to know who's really up here, and it's your spirit. And your spirit has infinite divinity, infinite power, infinite life. It gets me emotional. So many people think that it's meaningless being here. And that's why they try and push this heliocentric idea that we revolve around the sun. We're just one planet that just so happens to have life by sheer atoms smashing into. Oh, it's total coincidence. Neil deGrasse Tyson, all them false prophets. It's all meant to remove your own divinity, to remove the power that you have, to remove your own conception of who you really are. So they doctored the book. They doctored the truth. They doctored the astro-theological aspect of it all, and actually turned astronomy and astrotheology into works of the devil, right? Because that's what they tell you. Oh, astrology, astronomy, it's the devil. Don't do it. Don't look at it. But it was actually the very, very first science was astrology. And a lot of people say astrology started with this person, or founded by Hermes, or Hermes Trismegistus, or whoever it is, Thoth, whatever Greek, Egyptian god you want to say. The truth is, it started with women. Most powerful beings on this earth. Women were able to see that 12 times a year in sync with each other, they menstruate. And they started to notice a pattern. They were the first scientists because they were able to see the structure of things all the way back then. It's beautiful now that everybody's starting to wake up to this. You know, it's beautiful now that we have access to all the information and thoughts of so many million people, but it's kind of a shame nobody gives a shit right now. But maybe you will. I do. So they doctored the books, and then they put in, you know, all these historical facts in there. They do put in truth, but it's separate and it's historical, so that you more literalize it, and it's meant to blur out the true message, and it's meant to keep the truth to themselves, just like why they're doing all this, why they're spending, you know, so much money on educating, conditioning us to believe something else. So that people do not know the true riches of the scriptures. And, you know, there's a lot of people uncovering these truths right now besides me, obviously. Santos Bonacci, amazing. Google Santos Bonacci, Bonacci. If you really, like, I'm giving you guys, like, the pre-K version of syncretism. That guy is amazing. And it's like, you know, somebody's speaking truth when you can feel it in your heart. I'll take that back. I know he's speaking truth because it's his truth. I don't even have to judge him to know it, because it's all there. You just got to look for your own eyes. So he's at the forefront of syncretism in my eyes. So to close this up, the Temple of Solomon is your body. Your universe is within you. The universe is within you. Man is the measure of the universe. The Bible is the most misinterpreted text of all mankind, but it's also the greatest astrological treaty in the history of this planet. It's astro-theology at its best. Thank you guys. See you next week. Peace.